Well, welcome to QSI International School of Papa's graduation, our first graduation. Class of 2018, 2012. How many of you were here in 2012 when the school opened? All right. Well, we shall begin. We will start with a video put together by the documentary film class.
I used to be very idealistic, I think. I would always think, why can't everything just be perfect?
Are you recording it?
I feel changed. I just don't completely know how.
Christopher, want to see something cool? Watch this. I'm gonna jump over the rack. Okay? Ready? 1.
Remember that happiness is better than money.
I hear that music and it's just full of energy and recklessness.
Once you get to being a senior, you get to that final mark and you're like, okay, this is the last day I'm gonna come.
The idea of moving somewhere where I'm not my stepdad's son, I'm me.
It's almost in the music and people don't care if they mess up. It's not something that's supposed to be perfect.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a better person after being at this school,
This is the last year where I get to come here and be a student. This is the last year where I get to sit in class by my friends and know that I'm still going to high school, and you feel more complete.
Everywhere I moved so far, it's been, I've been your son. But now I'm moving somewhere and people don't have a preconceived image of me.
Here it's really cool because I got friends from Norway, I got friends from Sweden. I've got friends just from all over, and it's just really, really fascinating to me.
All my memories from here are memories that I'd like to keep.
Because people made the place for me. If you weren't here, if all my best friends weren't here, if Mrs. Hinsberg, Mr. Michael, all the teachers, my family and all that stuff weren't here, I wouldn't like this place as much as I did. And the people who moved, like Oscar and Ian and Natalia and Jenna and Justin, they helped make this place what it was and what it will be, hopefully in the future. And that's what I'm gonna miss.
Got chills. Do you? I was chatting with my older daughter, who lives in America, a while ago about our school's upcoming graduation, hoping to say something here that would leave students with a sense of what my experiences have been like. But more importantly, how sharing those experiences might shed some light on what our new graduates might see and do in their future, and what our underclassmen might plan for accordingly. What got me texting my daughter was a Twitter post of an island scene she tweeted, Greece maybe, and a comment about living life to the fullest, or something like that, pretty typical. But it got me thinking about where she'd live in the future, and what she'd be doing. Her tweet said she'd like to live on a tropical island, just like so many other tweets, Facebook posts, Instagram photos, Snapchat stories, like we've all seen. But most people don't actually realize those dreams. Instead, they live vicariously through others' Facebook posts, hoping that one day they'll find sand beneath their feet. Unfortunately, they probably won't ever do anything to make it happen. Is this insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? Saying over and over, one day, and then never doing anything about it? I think it's more complex than that and much harder than folks think due to traditions that are so ingrained that going against the grain isn't easy. I had an epiphany long ago as I struggled with the fact that I wanted my kids to be near their cousins. But I didn't want to live in my Mississippi hometown. That's what we do though. We return home to be with parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews, and old friends. Those connections are important for everyone involved. It's also what we know, which isn't as scary as the alternative. We're pressured to keep the tradition alive, not for the sake of any romantic ideals associated with tradition, but simply to pressure our families and friends, and society for that matter, place on us with their expectations that we return home. And, in fact, most people do. I love the mountains. I had that epiphany I mentioned on top of a peak in the Rocky Mountains as I looked out at the other peaks surrounding me. People return home here to the Rocky Mountains. If I had been born here, that vicious cycle of returning home to Mississippi wouldn't be an issue. Anyone, for that matter, from a place they don't particularly like, whether geographically, politically, socially, or otherwise, could avoid the roundabout if they could just choose where they're born. Simple, right? I wish. So how do we break this cycle? This tradition that pulls us back to a hometown that isn't tweeted often. I came up with the answer on top of that mountain, but it's not a really good answer. Or rather, the solution is simple, but the follow-through, not so much. You have to restart the cycle where you want it to return. The catch is that you'll be going it alone, or at least alone with your immediate family, setting sail on an adventure to set an example. Since kids return home for the most part, I want to start a cycle where my kids' homecoming will take part in a place that they like geographically, politically, and socially, where they can grow with an open mind that allows them to explore and impact a new world, one that we all hope to see one day. I'm still looking for that place, as if I'm still on that mountain wondering what the different peaks in the distance held, wondering where I'll begin again. Europe might be the answer, but so might Greece, or some other tropical island, maybe the Rocky Mountains. The point is, I'm looking. And I want you to do the same, Sheldon, and Courtney, and Herman, and Caleb. But it might not be easy if you choose a different direction. I taught for years prior to moving into administration, and I asked students at the beginning of each year questions like this. Do you ever feel like you're not like everyone else? That you see the world differently? That others don't really understand you? And each time, most of my students nodded yes. But could they all be so different? In my experience, that's not the case. There's a substantial degree of predictability in the way we act based on those original thoughts. We follow others, or lead even, in ways that don't particularly distinguish us from the multitude. Even those that rebel in a predictable way. So how do we get out of this rut? Break away from the herd and be original? I think it involves taking risks. Not foolhardy, uncalculated risks, but an approach to uncertainty with forethought and determination. It's easy to go with the flow because most of our lives are surrounded by conveniences that seduce us into complacency. It's easier not to rock the boat because we live on a cruise ship with a 24-hour buffet and pretty good service. You don't have to take risks on your own to explore new ideas, but you certainly can if that's how you'd like to begin the adventure. Just beware, or be aware of the ruts on the roads ahead. And remember, there are plenty of others around that might be willing to take up the challenge with you, if they just knew you were truly different and really resilient enough to stay the course. Thank you. I would like to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Sheldon Ruthrock.
Personally, this year being a senior has been different than being a junior because I actually have teachers this year. Last year a lot of my classes were online, so I had limited social interaction with people.
Sheldon's changed. He's become more responsible. He sets his mind to a goal and he follows through and he believes in himself more. He's developed more confidence.
For some reason, he reminded me a lot of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I think it was his hair.
Sheldon is an adult. I don't know if the world's ready for him.
He's always happy and he can help you when you are sad.
All my memories from here are memories that I'd like to keep as I leave.
I think he has the potential to help change the world in a better way, just because of his kindness and his generosity and the way he uplifts people.
He's just about the nicest person you'll ever meet. He's super smart. He's really good with computers.
His dream was to work for the Lego company.
He really notices how other people feel and can comfort them.
I hope that you live a blessed life, Sheldon.
I think he has put in a lot of hard work for several years. I think he's ready.
I'd like to tell Sheldon in the future to stay true to himself, to believe in himself, and to remember what a wonderful person he is.
So I have a speech, as everyone here today, and I'm going to tell it all to you. Hi, I'm Sheldon. I'm part of QSI Pápa's first huge group of 4 graduating. It's really special because this school is starting off with a 100% graduation rate. Now, that's pretty impressive. I'm not much of a speech giver, so I hope you all enjoy, or you can at least get a good nap in. It won't be too long though. So I'd like to start this off with the most important thing, which is showing my gratitude to all these people who have helped me out along the way for 18 years. Gosh, I'm old. I'd like to thank my teachers first, these people who I wouldn't really know anything or be graduating or even in school without them. So yes, thank you. Thank you for putting up with me. And yeah. Next, I'd like to thank my family and friends. They've been supportive. So much support. And again, without their support and just being there, I probably wouldn't be graduating either. Most of all, I'd like to thank my parents. They've had to deal with me the most over these 18 years I've been alive, just about all of those years. So thank you, parents over there. They're pretty cool. I would recommend them. And then, of course, I gotta thank my fluffy, furry pets for being there on all those days that I've failed tests and stuff like that. They're cute and they give me, yeah. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about my past. For those of you who don't know, this is only high school past, so it's the last 4 years. I started off going to high school in Germany, at one of the various military bases there. I lived there for 6 years, and I was really comfortable there. Then a little less than halfway through my freshman year, my parents were like, hey, we're moving to this place that no one knows about called Hungary. And I was like, wow, Hungary. Very exciting. It turns out it's really awesome, but I'll get back to that. I finished off my secondary 1 year going to Bratislava because this school didn't have a high school at that time, which I'm really thankful it does now. Thank you, Mr. Sanders, for keeping that going. But yeah, Bratislava wasn't the best time of my life. QSI Pápa, it's been a great school to me. I've gotten to meet many people from many different places that I didn't think I'd ever know this many Swedish people or Norwegian people in my life. But now I do. You guys are all awesome. I've been able to make really good friends here. I've been able to get a great education. It's really great. And because these classes are so small, I mean, as you can see, we're all here on the stage, you get the teachers just get to teach you really well to who you are. And you can learn some extra stuff as well, because they have more time instead of teaching 30 different students. So now for a bit of my future. I'll be staying here in Pápa for the next few months, and then I'm moving up to somewhere, maybe America, to go be an adult for about a year, see what it's all about, and discover myself a bit. And I may even move to America, which I haven't lived in since I was 9. After that, I plan to apply for college and get a degree in something computer-based, because computers are cool. And I still have to learn to drive. I'm 18 and don't know, and that's kind of an odd thing for America, so that's definitely a goal. For all you people out there who still haven't graduated yet, please do stay in school and don't do drugs. It's worth it. And I'd like to end the speech by congratulating all my other friends down here. There are many of them. They've done an amazing job these past years. I've known each of them for at least 2 years now, almost. Herman for like 3. Oh my gosh. I'm kidding, don't worry. They've all been great friends. They've all helped me out along the way and shown so much support. And I feel extremely lucky to have known all of you, especially Herman down there. He's pretty cool. Would recommend. And I hope that we all get to stay in contact after we depart and graduate and stuff. So yeah, that's the end of my speech. I hope you had a good nap. It's a short one. So next up we have Courtney over there. She's pretty cool as well.
The biggest change of coming here had to be the fact that I was able to open up. For me, as a person, it was really hard to open up. I was really, really shy. I was really scared of everything. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I wouldn't dare to talk in public or sing in public, any of that. Then I moved here and I'm doing all that stuff and I was like, dang, I didn't know I had it in me.
Some of Courtney's best qualities are that she is very kind and helpful, and she always helps people who need it.
That she's a good listener, and when you're trying to, like, you just want to share your opinions with her and she would listen, she will listen to you.
To me, it just seemed like it's so surreal because, I don't know, she's so smart and she's so deserving. I can't believe that she's in Europe doing that. It's kind of like, wow, this is very groundbreaking, very new, and I hope that she's enjoying all of it. And I'm really proud of her.
So how do I feel about Courtney's graduation? Very excited about it. You know, it's a huge milestone, you know, for her. Huge milestone for us as parents, just to show that, you know, we've developed and brought a child this far along, you know, into an adult, into a graduate. And it's just been a long journey, and we're just very proud of it.
Okay, I have mixed emotions about Courtney graduating. I'm proud of her, but I'm still nervous for her going out into the world as an adult.
The first time that I knew she was coming, I got kind of excited. A lot of people had left, and so my mom told me to send her an email to tell her about Hungary because she's never lived overseas before, and I have. So I was like, all right, cool. I wrote her an email, and she didn't write me back because she had sent it, or like she wrote this long email, but she sent it to the wrong email address, so I never got it back. So then, when I first met her, I was kind of nervous because I was like, man, what if she's mean? She didn't respond to my email, but then afterward I realized she wasn't mean.
Family, QSI members, and a special hello to my Uncle Junior, who came all the way from Houston, Texas to watch me graduate. So, my entire 2 years here have been an incredible journey and one that I will never forget, and I'll always smile at the memory of because it's unique to me and it's unique to my whole life experience. Graduation in Google is defined as the receiving or conferring of an academic degree or diploma. It's very simple, straight to the point, and true. However, if you just read that definition, you wouldn't be aware of the memories you make on the way, the people you meet, the lessons you learn, and the journey it takes to get there. Today, I'm telling you all my journey to get here, and I hope it motivates you to keep progressing on whatever journey you're all taking. So, it all started with freshman year, day one of high school, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was a youngin', I was 14, and I was really shy, but I was also new at the time because I had just moved from San Angelo, Texas, and I was really scared. I felt like a really small person surrounded by giants, and I felt like everything around me was huge and intimidating. The worst part about being the new kid and being really shy was lunchtime, because I was too scared to make friends, so I wanted to talk to people, but I would usually just walk around and then hope for someone to come talk to me, and then instead of being a loner, I would go up and be like, hi, can I sit with you? And then make friends that way. So eventually, I did walk up to some random people that day, and I asked to sit with them, and they said yes. Then that was the little me. I was a freshman at the time, and I thought I wanted to be an actress when I was 14, and I thought I was gonna get discovered by like Disney Channel. So, now fast forward to sophomore year, I was still in New Mexico, and my confidence grew from like a 1.5 to a 3. I was tired like all the time. I didn't like school, and I remember that it was especially hard that year because my dad had got deployed to Afghanistan, and for me and my little 15-year-old heart, that was a lot to handle. So I was sad a lot, and I was still reserved from people and shy. My goal of becoming an actress that year had faded, and then I decided I wanted to become a photographer so I could travel the world and see all kinds of new people and take cool Instagram photos and all that. Then I turned 16 years old and I entered into junior year, and that was the year that I found out I was moving to Europe. So before I came here, I got a welcome email from Alicia Pimentel, but I call her Felicia, and I would consider her the queen editor because his videos are cool, and all the film crew too. She told me about Pápa, and she told me about the people and what there is to do, and she told me the size of everything. And when I got that email, I remember reading the words, "It's extremely small," but I didn't really grasp what she meant at the time. I just thought that she was saying that. However, I did grasp that I had a new friend in Europe, so I was really excited to have that. I packed my bags, I got my passport ready, and I began to head to Hungary. I was excited, I was nervous, I was happy, and I was scared, but I was overall really ready to go. When I got to Pápa for the first time, it was really late at night, it was like 10 o'clock, and I was jet lagged, and I was at the villa. And I remember thinking to myself, whoa, this place is huge. The street signs are different, the language, the people, the money, and the outlets, everything's different. I was excited to go to QSI Pápa, and I was right to be, because as soon as I got there, I got to meet so many amazing people, and I truly learned what Felicia meant when she said that it was extremely small. So that was new. Then junior year consisted of all that, but it was the most significant high school year for me because I finally gained confidence and I opened up and I was speaking aloud, and I was making friends from different parts of the world, like Sweden and Norway and all kinds of places. I finally felt truly accepted as my person, who I am, and I got to travel to Paris and Italy and Slovakia and Croatia and Austria and so many other places, and I found my career choice and something I wanted to pursue, which was digital media production, and hopefully I get to become a director and see my movies. The last step of the journey is right here. It's senior year, and this is the year where most of my favorite memories are. I was able to calmly sail through this year and enjoy my time doing so, graduating with a sarcastic and funny and kind Sheldon, the humble, smart, and respectful Herman, and the cool, talented, and trustworthy Caleb, which I would say is the best class of 2018 ever. So that was my journey to get to this point in time, and I hope you all noticed the multiple changes that happened, like going from America to Europe and going from being shy to being confident, and like now, before my confidence level was at a 1.5 and now it's a 10. Yeah. I had a few close friends, I had like 3, and now I have loads of good friends and close friends, stuff like that. Overall, you never know where your journey will take you, but sometimes those are the best ones to take. So my journey was a blessing, and I have a few people to thank for being a part of it. I would like to thank my mom and dad for bringing me into this world and showing me what's right and wrong, and guiding me and loving me and giving me happiness and giving me these opportunities. I want to give a special thank you to my superhero, which is my mom. Thank you for making this senior year unforgettable, helping me, working as hard as you do, and watching me grow from a baby into an 18-year-old woman with a graduation cap on. Thank you to my uncle for coming here and supporting me like you always do. Thank you to my family that isn't here at the moment, the ones that are in Texas, but they're always in my heart. And thank you to my best friends who always motivated me, which are Jenna Gilbertson and Beata Gebhardt, Alicia Pimentel and Caleb Sanders and Justin Gilbertson and my friend Jasmine Henderson, who I met in New Mexico. They were really helpful to me and always helped me to become better than I could be, or better than yesterday and good today, and stuff like that. I wouldn't be here without anyone, obviously. I wouldn't be here without the people sitting in front of me. I wouldn't be here without the people over here. I wouldn't be here without my mom and dad. I wouldn't be here without my friends. So thank you all for that. Thank you to the other graduates for giving me the chance to be in such an amazing class of 4. And lastly, I want to thank God for letting me be in the first graduating class and be the first graduating girl at QSI Pápa. So, yeah. I hope everyone finds their journey and lives it to the fullest. So thank you very much. And I want to introduce Herman Goen for the next speaker.
I think my biggest changes in the way I view the world. I used to be very idealistic, I think. I would always think, why can't everything just be perfect? Why can't all politics be this one way? Why can't everyone have this thing? And why can't everyone understand this concept? But then I think I've become more realistic over the years in that people are different and there's a downside and upside to everything.
I think in many ways we have the same personality, the same energy level, the same way of thinking about things. He also has a talent for music, but I think that's something he's got from his father.
Describing Herman to someone who doesn't know him is defined by describing his hair first, because that is the most important thing about Herman. His hair destroys all social boundaries and is the most iconic thing and first thing people notice about him. Then you go on to describing his height, because he's also a very tall person, and this is also a very good defining characteristic about him.
He just every day, he would just go to the fridge all the time and just eat like snacks all the time, every day. Like if you put like a 24 pack of Snickers in the fridge, he'll be gone next day. He'll be gone.
That's crazy. Like he can literally eat like Snickers for dinner and then like be satisfied. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I met that tall sucker. The first thing I noticed, that he was tall. Like, there he is. Met him when I first came here and walked to the building, and in my head I was like, I don't know any of these people. I'm in another country. I'm freaking terrified. And went outside, and he came up to me. He was like, "Hi, I'm Herman." And he introduced himself. He was super kind, and he was like, "Want to become friends?" and stuff like that. And he helped me feel involved, and he helped me to feel comfortable.
Well, for me personally, my best memory with Herman, I think it has to be the time we went and we skydived together. That was pretty cool.
My best memory with Herman, it was many years ago. We were out sailing together on the boat, and then the weather got really bad, and Herman got really sick, and he threw up all over the water.
Okay, so I'm not as confident as Courtney, but I'm definitely more sweaty. Just want to start by saying that. So when I was told to write a speech, I realized that the hardest part would be the start. And I realized that this is true for just about anything in life. I still remember my first day of school and walking in and seeing all the scary faces. Those first steps into the classroom were the hardest by far. I still remember my first day at Oakleaf Junior High in Florida, getting used to a new culture and the embarrassment I felt when I realized it's not normal to call a teacher by their first name. It was hard. Traveling back to Norway, leaving all my friends behind, and learning to walk on icy streets in the polar night was hard. And learning to live in an entirely international community with the most rigorous curriculum I've ever faced thus far was hard. I think what made this experience the most amazing for me was the people. I've never met such a unique and varied cast before, and while I'm sure that I will never be able to repay them for these incredible experiences over the year, I would like to thank each and every one of you. I would also like to thank some people in particular. First of all, I would like to thank my parents for always having my back and being there when I needed it, and for not being there when that was needed. Then I'd like to thank my classmates throughout the years for making the school day something to look forward to. In particular, I'd like to thank Shelby. I don't think I would have made it here had it not been for you. You've been a true friend and I appreciate you more than you know. While I'm on the subject of people making the school day better, I'd also like to thank my teachers. I'd like to thank Mr. Michael for being an outstanding person, someone I always knew I could confide in and trust. I'd like to thank Mr. Sanders for inspiring a deeper love for literature and making great improvements to the school in the last 2 years. I'd like to thank Mrs. Hinsmark for being an incredible person. I'd like to thank Mr. Skinner for being one of the wisest people I've met. And perhaps the person I'd like to thank the most is Mr. Hinsmark. In the beginning, I didn't know you that well, but this quickly changed. You have been incredibly patient with me, and I don't think I can ever thank you enough for this. We've had several math classes, and you've taught me perhaps the most important things I'll ever know. You've been more than a teacher to me. You've been a mentor, you've been a guide, but most importantly, you have been and always will be a friend. I found that a few people know me better than you do. I would not be in the position that I am currently had it not been for you believing in me while I've been here. And any success that I may have in engineering will no doubt be due to you, and you should always keep that in mind. I arrived in the summer of 2015, and the experiences were already starting to pile up. It's been quite a while since then, and while a lot of things have happened, I could never imagine the feeling of standing here with 12 years of education behind me, my entire life ahead of me, and a strong tailwind. And it's due to this cast of characters that I'm currently experiencing a very interesting change. For once, thanks to my teachers and my friends, I feel as though starting university will not be that hard. For once, what's more difficult to me is finishing, packing up, and leaving. That's why I want to thank you all wholeheartedly for making it this way. I will not disappoint you. Caleb also has a speech.
But here it's really cool because I've got friends from Norway, I got friends from Sweden, you know, I've got friends just from all over, and it's just really, really fascinating to me. That's really cool, that's one big change. But also the fact that my largest class is like 8 students, and that's for lab band, but the majority of my classes are like 3 students, you know, it's really a really big change to me. And the fact that the school only has 85 kids as opposed to 2,500 kids is just significantly different. And being in Europe is just really, really cool, especially here in Pápa, where it's a very small population, and I love that. It's just amazing to me.
My best memories with Caleb is when he tried to speak Hungarian for the first time, and he tried to make connections between words without understanding them, and after he found out what he's saying, yeah, that was the best memory. And when we got his haircut in winter, when I tried to translate what he wanted, yeah.
Walked into a gift shop and saw a Metallica glass, and Mommy, I have to get that for Caleb. I have to get that one for Caleb. And it was a Metallica glass. She recognized the band name and had to get that for him. Christopher was in the store the other day and found these guitar wooden spoons for the kitchen. And he said, can I get those for Caleb, please? Can I get those for Caleb? And so they definitely have been influenced by his music.
And Christopher practices for a long time now, so he's really taken up the ukulele, and he will spend a long time practicing, and I'm convinced that has something to do with him seeing Caleb practicing.
My best wishes for Caleb after he's graduated is that he's going to have a great time in America and go to a good school.
I want to say that you are an awesome guitarist and you're going to be able to play in some awesome places someday, so don't ever doubt yourself, even if people tell you that you suck, because you don't, and eat breakfast because it's good for you.
What can I say? I made it, finally made it.
I remember my first day of freshman year like it was 4 years ago. I had gym for first period, and there were an abundance of seniors that I shared the class with. I remember senior week when all the seniors would have celebrations in school and have these assemblies. They all received these blueberry and icing biscuits called Bowberry biscuits, which none of y'all have probably ever heard of, but it's from a fast food restaurant called Bojangles, which is kind of like a Cajun, everything fried version of McDonald's. I would ask my senior friends to try and snag one for me, but they often would not want to share with me. They'd reply, "You'll be a senior before you know it, and you'll get your Bowberry biscuit." One blink of an eye later, and here I am living an entirely different life than I ever imagined back when I was just a wee little freshman. I'd say I've received my Bowberry biscuit by instead being very privileged to study abroad and see parts of the world I only dreamt of seeing. I'm graduating from an international school of only 80-some number of students in Pápa, Hungary. When my father told me he was moving to this country called Hungary, I didn't even know which of the 7 continents it would be situated on. Not to mention, I barely even knew the name Hungary. Now I live here. It's perfect for me because I love nature and solitude, which there's plenty of right here, and it's interesting to me how fast the time really flies. High school for me has seemed to drag by, making it seem like an eternity and a half ago. But at the same time, it seems like it was just last week when my mother was proud to take pictures of her second-born child the morning of his first day of high school. Now, here I stand, giving a graduation speech to people of all nationalities, accepting my diploma from a school in Hungary. I couldn't be happier in life. This past year and a half of my life has been full of brand new life experiences and lessons. It has shown me a new way of viewing life, teaching me how to make decisions. After elementary school, I started to go downhill in school, maintaining a B/C average, then eventually dropping to a D/C average. School suddenly became difficult for me, or rather, I applied myself to school less. It's easy to get distracted, too easy actually, and if I could go back in time and start high school all over again, I would have focused more and applied myself more. So if there's any advice I have to you, younger people, it's that you should give school your all and stay focused, and not get sidetracked like me. My freshman year of high school was exciting, yet intimidating. I felt like I had made it to the big leagues. My older sister, Emma, who is 20 years of age, was a junior at the time at the same school that I was going to. It was great to see her at school and talk to her and her friends. It was about what you imagine in an American public school. The popular group seemed to dominate the scene. Then there were the average kids who weren't in any clique, just had their own crew like myself. I had maybe 6 or 7 friends, 3 of which I still talk to. The thing about QSI Pápa that stands out from my high school I attended in America is that everyone I have met at school I would consider to be a true friend of mine. Everyone I am friends with is genuine and sincere, and that is such a huge deal to me and such a big change from the schools I attended in America. My sophomore year was practically the same, and that's when I began tinkering with the idea of moving to Hungary. My junior year is when I would make that choice. I didn't realize how much everything was about to happen in my life and how much everything was going to change. My senior year, this year, I've been so excited and so anxious to graduate from high school and to close that chapter of my life and begin this next chapter as an alumnus of high school. Being from Tupelo, Mississippi, not many of us can say we have been out of the country or even the state for that matter, let alone Hungary. For those who haven't heard of Tupelo, it's the same place Elvis Presley was born. I'm very proud to say I'm from the same place as Elvis. Coincidence? I think not. I want to thank everyone who has helped me to get to this point in my life. My family has always been there for me, willing and offering to help when I need it. My friends for giving me great amounts of entertainment and companionship, and my teachers for teaching me and preparing me for this very moment. I'm proud to be one of the first students to ever graduate from QSI International School of Pápa. Thank you all very much for coming out to celebrate this significant moment for the 4 of our lives.
I have carefully reviewed the academic records for this year's graduating class. I hereby certify that all students receiving their diplomas today have met or exceeded the requirements set by Quality Schools International for graduation from QSI International School of Pápa. Graduates, please stand.
Sheldon Ruthroth. Courtney Souders. Herman Gon. Caleb Sanders.
Continue to do what you do as a leader.
Good job.
Come a long way.
Have the courage to do the things that you want to do.
To stay true to himself.
Love you and just keep it up.
Congratulations.
Me and your mom are definitely proud of you.
I'm gonna miss you a lot.
I was here to encourage you. You're happy.
And I'll do anything for you.
What a wonderful person he is.
Because I know you're gonna do it, because you're an awesome person. Don't ever doubt yourself.
After the graduates have left the theater, the students will be dismissed by class. Parents, please pick up your children in the lobby. The reception will be held at the Griff Hotel on the main square. You are all invited, even if you have not RSVP'd.
Graduates, please move your tassels right to left. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of 2018.